Good evening. Welcome back to the Cheltenham Exchange. New year. Happy New Year to everybody, to all our viewers, supporters. 2023, 9 weeks away tomorrow from the start of the festival. The clock's ticking fast. So we're here tonight with our 5th Ante Post recording. Won't be many more of these with that clock ticking away. Festive racing been and gone. Ante Post market's still looking atrocious in terms of value. But I'm sure the boys will have picked out a nugget or two for us in here.
We're trying.
Without further ado, I've had word. I've heard it on the grapevine that the Rain Man has picked out a corker, and it might be what I like. So we can't start anywhere else. Ian, take it away.
Right. Okay. So it's one of our favourites, OJ. I've taken a bit of a punt. So I'm going for Garlaw in the Ryanair. So you can go 66-1 Ante Post or 50-1 no runner, no bet. So I have to bear with me. So I can't take all the credit. So here goes. I was initially looking for Garlaw as a bet initially for the brown plate or whiskey plate, what it was called. And there I saw Garlaw had a mark of 148. And within that, there was some form with Midnight River, who come out and won after 145. And also in the plate was So Scottish. So I spoke to the voice of Ireland, Jamie Wren, asked him about So Scottish and a potential Irish tax, if you want to call it that. And he reckons he'd be shocked if he got anything between anything higher than 138 to 140. And then when was in discussion, he said potentially, because of the higher mark for Garlaw, he's potentially going to the Ryanair instead, which I didn't think about. And then I spoke to Road to Cheltenham, quite a good account, and he sent me an article that Jamie Snowden put out in the Racing Post yesterday. And within that, it was his plan to potentially go to the Ryanair and to the Gold Cup next year. So that intrigued me even further. And then in the article, it also mentioned how they were trying to make it take it easy with the horse this year after a year off. So they're potentially going for 100k handicap chase at Ascot on the 21st. Now, also my thinking is if Garlaw does win that, obviously it will blow his mark altogether. So then it would have to go up to the Ryanair. So I'll just do a bit of backstory with Garlaw. Obviously won the Paddy Power Gold Cup at Cheltenham in November. And as I mentioned previously, Midnight River's come out and won the Paddy Power Chase on New Year's Day. And if you go back a race further, Garlaw was third in the Old Roan. And Hitman, who was second, had come out and won the Betfair Graduation Chase. And then finally, and then I'll finish looking, and part of the reasoning for my bet for Garlaw in the Ryanair, if you delve down into the market, obviously potentially Allaho, if he does go, will be the clear favourite. Then you've got Fakir Dudery will probably only run if Allaho doesn't go at all. You also got Sir Willie Mullins horses that, again, Willie Mullins bingo, will they go, like Blue Lord and Chac and Poursoir. Then you got Shishkin. Can you trust Shishkin at the minute? Conflated the stat will potentially go to the Gold Cup. Envoy, again, is very hit and miss. And then French Dynamite, who Garlaw beat, is 20-1. So how's French Dynamite 20-1 and Garlaw is 50 or 66-1? So that's my thinking. So it might be a bit crazy. I would have probably advised to go 50-1, no runner, no bet, just in case he does go to the plate to handicap route. But I think it could be a good bet. So that's Garlaw, Ryanair, 66-1 Ante Post, 50-1 no runner, no bet.
Love it, Ian. Found a little rick in the market there.
Yeah. It's crazy how it's all happened today, and just that article that I never knew about, and it made my mind up.
He's a good jumper.
Yes.
Love it. Right. Follow that, Alex.
Okay. So I'm going to put up another handicapper. After putting up a handicapper in the last one, I'm putting up a handicapper again.
Yes.
Being brave.
Pen at the
Can't
ready.
see too much. Sorry?
Getting my pen at the ready.
Yeah. Can't see too much value in the sort of grade 1 markets now. So try and look elsewhere. So the horse I'm going for is Colonel Mustard. And I think he'll be running in the Grand Annual. Currently best price, you can get 25-1 with Paddy Power. That's 5 places on that as well. Or if you want to get non-run no bet, you can go with William Hill and get 14s. If you were going to back him, I'd probably advise split the stake, just to get both bases covered. So just in case he doesn't run. Reason I like him, he had some really good form over hurdles last season. He had a second to John Bonner Ascot off level weights. He was only beaten a couple of lengths. He had a third to Sir Gerhard. I think he's beaten about 10 lengths that day. He then rocked up at the county off a mark of 140, I believe it was, and was third behind Stateman and First Street. His mark was only one lower than Stateman's that day, and he was only beaten by 2.5 lengths. Then this year he's actually gone novice chasing. His first race he ran behind Hollow Games. He was never put in the race. It was clear he was just sort of schooling around. And then second time out, he then ran against El Fabiolo. And to me, if you've got a novice chaser you think's got a chance of winning some novice races, you'd probably put him in races it can win. And they've deliberately put him in races that he's not going to win, get a nice mark. He's been given a mark over fences of 136. He was entered on Sunday, got pulled out of that. And to me, I think they've seen the mark of 136 and they think, let's just chuck him straight in the handicap, but in better company. So to me, good price, and I'm going to get stuck in.
Stuck into Colonel Mustard.
Colonel Mustard.
It was him who did it in the drawing room with the candlestick. 20-1. Alex's second handicap pick already, and we're only 2 weeks into January.
I know, mad.
Great
thing
stuff.
is, the bookies have just squeezed those grade 1 markets, haven't they? So yeah, trying to look elsewhere for a bit of value.
Absolutely. Sir Gerhard mentioned there. Where is he going now? Who knows? Right. The English boys have spoken. We'll move on to the Taffs, the lads in rail, and Mr. Jonathan Evans. Give us your latest Ante Post bet, please, mate.
Alex is not going to have any left for the handicapping show that we do, is he? The way he's churning these out at the moment. That's good.
I've got plenty in the tank, Johnny. Don't worry.
That's good to know. Yeah, well, I'm going back to the Gordon Elliott stable for my next pick. And if you excuse the pronunciation, Favori de Champdou for the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. I think he's about 12-1 with most firms for this race. But just before I came on, one of the Fat Jockey lads, forum lads, came on the group. And he said he's been boosted on Boyles tonight to 16-1. So if you're quick, you might get a bit of a boost on him. But yeah, he's actually 8 now, so he's quite old for this race. But he is very, very lightly raced. And he's a second season novice because he came second to Chinks of Light in a novice hurdle in October 2021. But this season, he's really, really come into himself, and he's racked up 3 novice hurdle wins, all over 2 miles 7 this season. I think 2 of them were at Thurles, and the other was at Limerick, where he beat Let's Be Clear About It by 4 lengths. Which
where were Johnny?
Eh?
Where were they?
Where?
Thurles. Not Furls.
Thurles.
So yeah, Let's Be Clear About It was touted as a Albert Bartlett horse himself last season, and then I think he got injured and we didn't see him. So I just thought that was quite an eye-catching victory, really. Anyway, I think this race should suit him down to the ground. He obviously stay the 3 miles on the new course. I reckon it'd be right up his street. He is only rated, I think his official rating is only 136 at the moment. So there is a slight worry that he could go to a big handicap
or something
instead. But I just think, they might stick him in a handicap before then, and he might romp in, and then he'll be, be rated 145, 150. But the interesting thing is RPR for his last race was 152, which is a hell of a lot higher than what the Nice Guys was at this stage last season. And he went on and romped home in this last year. So I just think at 12 to 1 or 16 if you get the boost, I think he's got the ideal profile for this race. And, he could be amongst the front runners come March.
Second season novice. Favourite de Champdu for the Albert Bartlett for John.
Do you think they might look at handicaps?
Boyles if you want to get 16s. Sorry, Al.
I was just going to say, Johnny, do you think they might consider handicaps with him because his mark's like 136?
Well, that's what I just said. That I mean, he could go on in a handicap in his next race and pick up something decent along the way, and then go to the Albert Bartlett. They've got that option as well.
Just had a look. He's got no future entries.
Yeah. So maybe they'll just lock him away now and keep him for this race. But he could back him non-run no bet, but I was just willing to take the chance at that price. I might go back in on that 16 if it's still there after this, actually. So yeah, I just think get stuck into it.
GSI.
Thank you, Jonathan.
No worries.
And Matty, he's enthusiastic tonight. We can tell. We can say he's got an absolute gem that he's waiting to throw at us.
No. Obviously, as I've been scratching my head. I had Ante Post on my radar for something like the county hurdle. His last run against Facile Vega, he's been put up to 145, so had another 5 or 6 on when he comes over here. I think that rules that out. So I think he'll end up going to the Supreme Novice Hurdle. Ante Post 25 to 1. Or you can play it safer and it's 16 to 1 non-runner no bet with William Hill. I'll come the day if he does go here, he'd definitely be shorter than that. So 16 to 1 non-runner no bet. It's probably the play on Ante Post in the Supreme.
Ante Post in the Supreme. Nice each way price for Matty. Thank you, gents. So there's our latest 4 Ante Post selections from the guys. Quick run through. We started off with the Rain Man at a huge price, 66 to 1 or 50 to 1. Not running no bet on Garlow in Ryanair. Alex, another handicap pick, Colonel Mustard in the Grand Annual. Sit around 20 to 1, Paddy Power.
Yeah.
John, Favourite de Champdu in the Albert Bartlett. And Ante Post each way in the Supreme for Matty, around 25 to 1 or 16 to 1. Non-runner, no bet. Thank you, chaps. Some lovely selections there that I'm sure people will enjoy. I forgot to mention at the start, some of the lads have been whoring themselves around again, featuring on Ginger Joe's Racing Channel yesterday, throwing in some selections there. So if you get a chance, get on Ginger Joe's and give it a watch. I watched it today. It was very good, must say, very good. Right. Before we bugger off, then we'll have a look at some of the questions. Ian asked for questions again on Twitter, and we had a good response again. So thank you for that, folks. And we'll start off. Friend of the show, family member, Chester. Jolly Hames, if you had to nail your colours to the mast now, name the 3 novice hurdle winners. So who wants to go first here? John, go on.
Go on, Matty.
Go on. I was going to say I'll get mine out of the way because I've just
Go on, John.
Go on, John.
Right. Supreme, Facile Vega, no surprise there. Ballymore, Gaelic Warrior, and Albert Bartlett, Favourite de Champdu.
Thank you, sir. Matty,
Easy.
He's all over Gaelic Warrior, Matty. I can see it.
No. I just haven't even.
Yeah,
I just put up Ante Post non-runner no bet for the Supreme. Obviously, Facile Vega is the most likely winner if he goes here, though. Ballymore, I was sweet on Grange Clare West until he ran at the weekend.
Still running.
Whether I could forgive him that run if he turned it, I'd have to have a think. But I'd be interested I'm still keen on American Mike, but I need to see him again. I think probably Imperi Pass might come here from Willie Mullins, though. Then if I've pronounced that right, I'll probably get told if I haven't. And the Albert Bartlett. If three card Bragg turned up here, I'd be interested in 3-card Bragg and Bartlett.
Thank you, Matty. Alex.
I'm going to be a bit out of there, and I'm not going to go with Facile Vega because I think I'll be boring if everyone does. So I'll go Marine Nationale, I'll go Gaelic Warrior, and I'll go Sandor Clegane for the Bartlett.
Thank you, Alex. Ian?
Well, I totally messed up because I totally forgot about the Albert Bartlett, and I've put Mayor's Novice down because it's the Mayor's Novice hurdle. You can have 4 if you like, or you can just have 3.
For the price of 3.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to be boring. So Facile Vega for the Supreme. Like Alex and Johnny, I like Gaelic Warrior for the Ballymore. Hidden Valley Lake for me in the Albert Bartlett. And if you want an extra one, Mayor's Novice Hurdle, Lucia.
Oh, you had to snick a Hendo one in there, didn't you, Ian?
Hidden Valley Lake's one of your Ante Post selections as well.
Yes, into 5-1 now.
Just talking about the Ballymore, do you think Champ Kiley will go in after the weekend, or do you reckon they'll step him up?
I think it would go Ballymore myself.
I think I'll go Bartlett.
Interesting.
What did you make of that race?
Did it well?
With a fast, wasn't it? With the hurdles, 4 hurdles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did it.
There wasn't a hurdle in the last 7 furlongs or something, was there?
No, ridiculous.
Not sure if that helped the winner either, to be honest. But
Yeah. So whether you could take anything out of that race, I don't know. But
he looked,
Hard to tell.
Good, though.
Okay, next question from our friend Cheltenham. Mad to think that Facile Vega, John Pond, and Constitution Hill pays around 5-1 when John Bon alone was bigger pre-season. So I know you've all had plenty of bets not mentioned on the show, multiples, Dreamweavers, etc. So what's your best or a few of your best tickets? So I don't know whether you've had a chance to look at this, lads. Time to think of what the best one you're sitting on at the moment, John.
Mine's probably a 320-1 roll-up going on to Lossiemouth in the Triumph Hurdle.
nice.
So, yeah,
At what price?
320-1.
Oh.
That's the roll-up, isn't it?
Jesus.
How many beers you had, OJ?
You can't get the staff, can you? Yeah. Lossiemouth in the back was priced at 16, and there's 2 other horses in with it to roll him up to 320-1. So, yeah, that's probably my best ticket. That's best cash out that I've got anyway, by a long way.
Okay. Matty, you haven't been going mad this season, have you?
No, I haven't. Probably the best one, I've already commented back to Dave what it was. I did a double. I did Scotty Scheffler to win any major at 8-1 and American Mike to win any race at 4s. I think it paid about 44-1. But obviously, I need to see what happens with American Mike after his last run. Hopefully, runs before Cheltenham so we can see how he is, or if he goes straight there, then we'll just see what happens.
Love it. Ian?
I've got a little few. You might have to bear with me. I've got my phone, but most of mine have the requested bets on Sky have normally been quite good. And some of these, I think I've looked to even we've done them as far back as just after the festival last March, and I found one here which was 100-1. Constitution Hill, Facile Vega, Galloping de Champ, and John Bon all to win at 100-1. So I've had a 5-3 bet on that one, so potentially could pay about £500. I've got quite an interesting one. It was Constitution Hill to win the Fighting Fifth and the Champion Hurdle, and Brave Man's Game to win the King George, which he did. So potentially That could be about £130. The only other one I've done myself on Bet365. I've got Fastil Vega at 94 for the Supreme, Energumene at 5-2 for the Champion Chase, and Alho, hopefully he goes 15-8 for the Ryanair. So that again, that could potentially pay about £400. So I've got a little few, some singular ones which I think I've got cash. A couple of them have got cash outs about £40 or £50. I think one of them's Galard Dominio, and I think one was Lossiemouth that John mentioned. But yeah, I've got a little few on there, but
nothing. An entire book there.
Yeah, so all on Anaho really. God forbid if he doesn't go off it, I'll be crying. But yeah, I've got a little few.
Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Matty's favourite, Aloho.
Come on, Aloho.
Alex, what have you got? What are you sitting on?
I've got a couple of things, but just one I'll just mention. I placed it as Constitution Hill jumped the last in the Supreme. Quickly had up Sky's markets on my phone. I've got Constitution Hill at 9s and John Bond 10s in a double. So I think it pays about 110 to 1.
Very nice. Thank you, chaps. Right. Next question comes from Shane Orange 1979. Brave Orange, like Orangey Boom. Do you remember that beer, Orangey Boom?
Oh, it's a lovely beer. That was
nice beer, that wasn't it? Brave Man's Game, staying the gold trip. Is it unfair negativity due to previous attempts by Nichols, King George horses? Sorry, I'm not. Brave Man's Game, staying the gold trip. Is it unfair negativity due to previous attempts by Nichols, King George horses such as Sickback, Conti, etc.? Surely he has equal chance as Lompress and Gallop de Champs. Bit that's Sickback, Conti. That's not very nice on poor old Sylvia. So, what do you think? Brave Man's Game for the Gold Cup, Matty.
He's right, hasn't he? I mean, he was called a bridal merchant for not kicking away from horses in previous races, but I think after his run in the King George, he hit the line strong, and he got in trouble at one point, and then he had Lompress beat, 4 Lompress fell, unseated the rider. I love the lad, and he's one of my favourite horses. Would I be in a rush to back him at 9 to 1? Probably not. But no, I think he's earned the right. I think he'll go. He jumps well and he travels well, and that's exactly what you need.
Will he beat Manala Indo?
No.
There we go. There we go. Alex.
I don't think there's an issue with him staying the trip. I just don't think he'll like the course, undulating, isn't it? And I mean, I don't think he's not won a race sort of in the spring yet, has he? All of his wins have been in the winter, so he's not won a race at sort of either of the festivals, whether it's Cheltenham or Aintree, anything like that. That sort of late in the season. So until he can sort of go and prove that he can still act at that time of year and he can act on that kind of course, I wouldn't be backing him.
Ian.
Right, I was talking to Matty about this earlier, so you might have to bear with me. I made a little few notes.
Bear with you?
You're going to add about half an hour onto the video.
No, it won't be. So I was looking at some of the Brave Man's Games wins, and you're going to see a pattern. So you got Kempton, flat galloping track. Weatherby, flat galloping track. Doesn't like Aintree. Newbury, flat galloping track. Haydock, flat galloping track. Cheltenham, third undulating track. Chepstow, undulating track, second. And there's only one at Exeter, which is an undulating track, was his only win at that sort of, if you want to call it that sort of track. So that's, I know it's boring and everyone's going to say, oh, it's a flat track bully, blah, blah, blah. But some of that does back it up. Is it a good horse? Yes, he's a good horse. Fantastic jumper. But I'm just not sure about if he's going to like Cheltenham. Would he be there? Be about 4th or 5th? But I think there's still about 3 other horses, I would say, that will be in front of him.
Yeah, but the question was, does he deserve to stick? Is he getting stick because of the previous Nichols runners? You know, he's saying he doesn't like Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Okay, finished. As was it? 30 lengths behind. 13 lengths behind Bob in the Ballymore.
Yeah.
Over a chip that's clearly probably too short for him. But he travelled and jumped all right that day.
Yeah.
Not too overheard. He's a much better horse over fences.
Right, he's
think
only
he
half a
finished
length
a
ahead
few-
of Bear Grylls, mate.
Got the distance. He'll stay the distance. I just don't think he. I think he prefers a flatter track or flatter course. But I might be proved totally wrong. But
I know, but you're saying you're completely like writing him off one run at Cheltenham, which was he didn't run overly too bad.
No.
It's just Bob was an absolute rocket that day.
I think there's other
Took off
horses.
his feet, I think, in the end.
Other horses that prefer the track to Brave Man's Game, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the question wasn't about whether he wins; it's whether there's the stick right, wasn't it? Was that?
I think the stick's right.
Yeah, I think it's right.
You sounded a bit like Paul Nicholls here, Matt. He was getting a bit needled the other day when they questioned him.
No, I mean,
I'm not scared of Cheltenham.
I don't think you can say he doesn't like the track. He deserves his chance, and he travels well and he jumps well, which is what you want. And
tell you what, Matt,
I
you've been more positive about Brave Man's Game than you were about your own selection earlier.
You should have put him up.
Yeah,
you all written him off. You all written him off on
Matty's
the Christmas
Brave Man's
preview,
Game.
and I wasn't on. I wasn't able to be on to stick up for him then when he shut you all at then, didn't he?
Why were you on him then, Ray, for the King George? I don't remember you saying that.
I wasn't on for the King. I wasn't here, was I? You were all against it.
too busy wanking on the train.
Oh, no, we're only winding you up, Matty. Okay, Brave Man's Game. John, I've got a feeling John's answer's not going to be as long as Ian's.
Well, no, I mean,
John's will just be no.
I agree with everything Ian said. I just don't think he'll take to the track like he did last time. I've just got that suspicion that he won't. But going back to the question, I think Nicholls, to be fair, brings that onto himself that he gets stick because he builds him up to be this Gold Cup horse and then he pulls him out of races all the time when it gets there, doesn't he? And I think that's why the stick gets dished out, whether it's right or wrong. You know, people will have their own opinion on that. But
yeah, that's fair.
I just think it is brought on himself really a little bit. You know, just like last year he got pulled out, saving for Aintree, goes to Aintree, gets beat. You know, it's just that's why he's getting the stick, isn't it? It's because of what's happened in the past. So yeah, but no, I don't think he'll win anyway. If that's the other answer you want, I think there's a few horses that the trip and the course suit better.
Okay, thank you, chaps. There you go, Shane. Hopefully that gives you a few answers to your question. And to finish off with Simon Curry. Handicap plot jobs, gentlemen. Cat out the bag regarding a few already. He hasn't told us which, has he?
No.
But wondering if you might have spotted something lurking. John 5566 also asked, now Hills and non-runner, no bet. Who are the best bets for handicap? So I guess it's a kind of combination question because if you're looking for a handicap pick, you're probably looking for something that's being plotted anyway. Mm-hmm. So the master of the handicaps, Alex, you're going to have to kick us off here, mate.
Well, I'm just going to have to recycle my old stuff. I'm going to go Salvatore Ziggy for the Pertemps and let's go Colonel Mustard for the Grand Annual. Doubling up on him.
Double down. John?
I'm not sure if this is a plot really, but certainly he was eye-catching last time out was Klitschko in the behind that, was it that Jupiter, whatever it was called?
Gary Morse.
Yeah, I just thought he was held up, never put in the race, and he just was, he didn't really touch him really. I just think maybe he is being plotted. I don't know. Maybe they don't think he's good enough for the grade ones. So I just think he's definitely wanted back wherever he shows up. But yeah, I also think for the Boodles, but I'm not sure which one. Either one of the JP horses, either Takao or Comfort Zone, whichever one turns up there, I'd also be backing. But I don't want to be backing them now because you'll get 6-7 places on the day, won't you? And I can't see the prices being that dissimilar to what they are now, to be honest with you.
Klitschko was one of your 5 to follow.
He was indeed.
Did we work out in the end whether you have to have 4 runs to get in a handicap? Did the bumper runs count? Did we work that out in the end? We were looking at that earlier.
Not sure.
I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest. If anyone knows the answer to that, they can put it down.
let us know.
Put it below.
Yeah, I don't think we got round to looking at it, did we, in the end?
No.
I think we found
That could change a lot of the handicap stuff this year, because normally you see a lot of really unexposed novices, don't you, in these counties and Coral Cups and stuff. But with the change of the rules, they've got to run 4 times before. Maybe they'll be a bit less unexposed.
I think more exposed. 4 for hurdles and 3 for chases. Chases haven't changed, but
okay.
Yeah.
Matty Luke, what have you got for us in handicaps? Gaelic Warrior saving his mind.
No.
Funny you should say that.
There's 2 I quite like the look of. Alcan Risk in the Grand Annual, 12-1 non-runner, no bet. I think he's been put up to 145. I think that's quite fair for his recent runs. And the other one is Ante in the Attempts, 20-1 non-runner, no bet with Hills. Ran in the same race that Alex's Salvador Ziggy did. He's been put up to 139 now, so he's gone up £3 for the run. I thought he had a nice race that day to qualify, and they weren't overly hard on him after the last. So Antalya Attempts and Alcan Risk in the Grand Annual are the 2 that I'm quite sweet on at the moment.
Thank you, Matty. And Rayman, wrap it up for us.
Right, so one is obviously obvious. I've mentioned the horse already. It's called So Scottish. I think it's probably the most blatant plot job in the world. It's like the Shunter Mark II for Emmett Mullins. It sounds like he's going to have a mark of around, I think he ran off 135 when he was second last time out. So I'll be surprised if he gets anything higher than about 140. I'd say 138, 140. And I wonder if they do something similar to the Shunter, where they kept chopping and changing, going hurdles and chasing, and just to keep the mark down. But I could be wrong. I can't take the credit for this one, but someone's messaged me and said potentially is a Ben Pauling horse called Your Darling going in the same race as well with in the plate, potentially carrying a feather. Could be one to keep an eye on. And again, the other talking horse is probably Langerdan, that could go anywhere, could go Martin Pipe again, could go, was it Coral Cup you said, Johnny? Might potentially go.
Possibly, keep an eye out for him.
Non-trying again, I think, come 8th of 9th at Cheltenham New Year's Day, so that potentially could be another one to keep an eye on. But it may be Gaelic Warrior. You mentioned Gaelic Warrior. Just be aware, or be very aware of the mark. That's all I'll say.
He's not had his Irish tax yet, though, has he? So.
No.
What is it at the moment? 135? 132?
136, wasn't it?
136,
I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's down as 132 on Racing Post at the moment.
Might be right, I'm not sure.
So, yeah,
what are you backing him for? The play?
Gaelic?
No. No, I thought you were So Scottish, sorry.
Oh, yeah, there'd be the play.
Oh, Scottish.
Scottish.
Didn't realise you'd gone to talk about that.
No, sorry. So So Scottish should be the plate, I reckon. 2.5.
Plot job for Ian. So Scottish.
Can't wait for it.
Lovely. Right. Well, that's just about it, I think, gents. So thank you, as always, for the wonderful insight. Thank you to everyone who has sent in questions. Hope the answers were satisfactory. And thanks to everyone who's continuing to subscribe, like, and share any content that we have put out. Remember to go and watch the lads on Ginger Joe's from yesterday. And keep spreading the word. Get those subscribers up if you can, folks. And 9 weeks tomorrow until it all kicks off. Not long now. So keep watching. We'll be back soon.